Hello everybody, this is Caden on the From the Table podcast. Before we start this episode, I just want to take this moment to talk about the tornadoes that have come through our area this past weekend. Hear these words from Pastor Amanda, as this is what she had to say this previous Saturday night. Horrific. For so many in our region, daylight brought a living nightmare this morning. In a matter of seconds, their lives, homes, and communities were upended last night. I didn't begin to see the full extent of it, and I can't process what's happened. I just know that my heart breaks for those who will be sifting through their lives, trying to hold the pieces together for the days, weeks, and months to come. There isn't anything nice or neat that can be said. This will be a long, complex, grief-filled journey for so many. May we sit in these dark places with the people who need us to be heartbroken with them today. Today, that with looked like hands and feet working to clean up debris and pack up valuables. It looked like delivering hot meals and offering a warm place to shelter and recharge. It looked like collecting funds, resources, and willing volunteers. It looked like calls and text. It looked like accepting your helplessness and whispering a prayer for mercy. To allow ourselves to journey with those who are suffering is to allow our very own hearts to be broken. And isn't this what Advent looks for? Aren't we fixing our eyes and hearts on the one who is willing to leave the throne of heaven to enter our suffering and walk with us? He is with us most palpably as we are with those who are hurting. May we make room, Lord. Lord, have mercy. Lord, be with us. Thank you to Pastor Amanda for letting me use her message. On behalf of me, Bryant, and the whole church, we are praying for everybody who was and is still affected by the weather that has happened this past weekend. To the cities of Dresden, Mayfield, Kentucky, and every other city affected by this weather, we are praying for you. We understand that these times aren't easy right now and won't be for a while, but we will get through them together better than ever. Now, on to this week's episode on From the Table. Welcome. This is episode 3 from the Table. We are here today with Mr. Carey and Mr. Glenn. Howdy. How are y'all doing tonight?
We're doing good tonight. How about you?
Good. So y'all work at We Care. They are volunteers at We Care. Just so, Mr. Glenn, just tell us about yourself.
I started at We Care 12 years ago, 2009.
Wow.
And it started off, Dee, my wife, worked there during the store hours at the counter, and they asked her if she would like to work in the food bank. And she said, yes, and my husband would come along, and what they were looking for was somebody to replace the director of the food bank at night, because she's going to be gone for 6 weeks
Right.
for surgery. So we were basically in charge of the food bank for 6 weeks. After a month.
So you were interim.
Yes.
Stretches to 12 years.
Yeah.
And I had thought, well, that's probably what we're all going to do, just 6 weeks and be done.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was gratifying to help people. And we just continued on. And then it evolved. I started doing other things, whatever needed to be done. And we started working on one Saturday a month at the counter. And then the man that did the holiday stuff,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
we had to give it up because he had a bad back.
Yeah.
And he asked if I'd take over. And yeah, every time you see that Christmas stuff out there, or Valentine's, or the guy did it.
Yeah.
Packed it all up, put it away. And it's the Christmas stuff especially is fun because
Right.
kids will come here, youth groups will come.
Oh, yeah.
here,
Oh,
run
yeah.
over the
Our youth
trailer,
group, big one.
Yeah.
And I'm crying because it took me all year to fill it up, and it only took them 2 all
Yeah.
year. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, Mr. Carey, tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself.
Gary Buxton moved to Martin, or retired at 62 and moved back to Martin, Tennessee. Only spent 10 years here, finished at UTM in 74 and then went away for 40 years. Retired, came back here to home, take care of my mother at that time, but I walked up to the soybean festival, which I had never heard about. And I walked up there one night, and lo and behold, here's Betty Baker, and they got tents and tables set up. They're giving away hot dogs.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, whoa, this is kind of neat, free food.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I very seldom turn down free food. And we're talking to Betty, and she said, Carrie, this is put on by We Care, and I have no idea what We Care is. And she said, well, we're a ministry here in town. We take in donations, and we sell them to the public. We use the money to do things like this for help out. She said, but one of our gentlemen who checks out electrical items, Marvin Downing, he's going to have his knees replaced or something, so we're going to need to have somebody to fill in for him for 6 weeks. I said, sure, I know a little bit about that. That was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm still there filling in for Marvin for 6 weeks.
They're still saying that. Oh, Marvin will be back.
I know I'll ask Marvin every once in a while, Marvin, how are those knees doing? Are you ready to come back for work? But he does a little bit when I'm not there, but he pulls out of the 4x4 bins and puts it on the tables, and he hauls scrap metal and things around and all the cardboard.
Yeah.
I check out things that are electrical in nature. If it has a battery in it or electrical cord in it attached to it, I check it for safety and operation. And vacuum cleaners, clean them up a little bit, and maybe buy a part or two. I ordered something for one, a filter that the reason I think the family gave it to us because they took a filter out and lost it. And it wasn't filtering anything, so there's dust in their house. So I ordered that. But it's a fun job. It's
Right.
something that keeps me off the streets for 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. And I'll keep going as long as I can do it.
I will say that every time I have gone in during the day on a day that We Care is not open, and I'm there most of the time to talk to Betty about something, but before I leave, I like to go around and see if I know anyone. I usually see y'all, but I always know where he's gonna be. I'm like, the first time I was like, I went back there and I didn't even know you worked there. And yes, well, and it is a recessed area.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, which is good because it's electrical.
There's a reason for that.
That's right.
Yeah. Very.
But I remember the following times thinking, I wonder if Mr. Carey's here. I was like, I'll go back there, take a left after the opening and see if he's there. Always there.
As long as you don't get there too early on those days, because I am not one of those people that wakes up with the crow, calling or
Yeah, no. I understand.
I get there when I get there, and then I leave when it's kind of done.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Well, I was supposed to intro our We Care history about 5 minutes ago. So why don't we do that now?
Yeah.
For anyone listening that's like, what are you talking about? We Care is a ministry. It's a nonprofit. It began in 1973 at this church, at First United Methodist Church, Martin, with a donation of $3,600. And the key to that was like a designated donation. It had to be used for people and not for bricks and mortar. And so it really just was kind of like in the backyard kind of style, offering like thrift store kind of mentality for the community because that's what the need was. It has massively expanded since then. It's more than a thrift store. Every time I talk to Betty, she loves to share the mission and what the needs are, and she always tells me we are more than a thrift store here. Tell people that. Get that word out. And she has some things on here, some programs that have gone from thrift store, which basically just clothing, discounted clothing, to public support, family support, seasonal needs. Mr. Glenn, you've already talked about the holidays and the Christmas store, hunger relief with the food bank, educational and spiritual growth programs, and then there's also a new program that was started in 2020 called Rise Above, and the purpose of that is to help clients rise above their circumstances with training skills that will lift them out of poverty, which is incredible because it's great to have a place where you can get your needs met at your income. It's an entirely different thing to change someone's life and give them an opportunity to rise above where they're at. I mean, that is, and there's programs out there, but seldom does a nonprofit that isn't multi-chains is able to do something like that. And that's just, I mean, and I know Betty, who's the We Care director, has mentioned to me dental care, eye care. There's vision and dental and different kind of ways that they help people out even more than those 6 programs. So I just wanted to make sure we had that in there for anyone that might just assume that We Care is a thrift store. It's much more than that. It does so much for really every income level. But Betty and the team here with Mr. Glenn and Mr. Carey and the whole team is constantly aware of what is the needs that need to be met, and let's figure out how we can do that at We Care Ministries because we care.
Right.
So, yeah, so I just wanted to say that.
One of the things that they also do that I see, I work in my little corner of the back room there, and they have a cleaning table, and different people are there, seems like every week, because a lot of people from the industries around town, MTD, Leland Powell Screw Company, people that are injured or on the job on light duty, they come to We Care.
Yeah.
And they work, cleaning parts or helping me out. They work around wherever they can.
Yeah.
So it serves a need there to keep these people.
And there's many people, and it wouldn't just be this church, but I can only speak for during work hours at this church. Many people that come by asking for certain things, and we always point them to We Care because Betty has set something up. There's a knowledge of a need, and it's really the epicenter for the town.
There's people come through that are on community service.
Right.
Oh, and which stretches beyond Martin. She was telling me the other day, someone from out of state was coming in.
Well, it's amazing. What I do is nothing. I just like change out batteries and plug it in. But when they get these people that are in so many places, like they're at the low point in their life,
right,
and they're coming there and they're being helped with food, a chance to get into a job, things like that. Yeah, it's really a blessing to this town, and like I say, the community, the Wickley County, and around Wickley County.
Very.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, talking about state people come in.
Yeah.
There was one time I was working the counter on a Saturday. And this couple come walking in there. They walked around the store and did their shopping and come by and they stopped and talked to us. This is, we're from Nashville. We just riding around. We happened to pass here, and here's this place that was just jam packed full of people.
Yeah.
We had to stop and see what
Yeah,
it was.
what's going on?
We explained to them what we do, and they just were amazed.
Yeah.
It says we need something like this in Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Very.
other places are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're very lucky to have this
Very.
opportunity.
Absolutely.
To help people.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about We Care right there. So for the people who don't know, that is indeed We Care. So Mr. Glenn, tell us about your involvement at We Care. Just like what goes on. I mean, you really kind of answered it already, but it's like, I mean,
yeah.
What's if the season wasn't Christmas,
right?
What would you do?
Yeah.
Well, on Thursdays, I work at the food bank and we give out food. And that's basically all I do. Well, sometimes I'll come in there during the week and do the sorting for the holiday stuff. Basically, that's about all I do. And then working at one Saturday a month. But it takes a couple, 4 hours maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
when I get electrical items on my table, and now especially all during the year, people donate Christmas lights, all types of little small lights, big lights, and unless they come packaged in the original carton that they're sold in, we can't sell them in the store like that. That goes to Mr. Glenn and Dee, and I fill up a tote with them, and tote will be disappeared, and an empty one is there, and they just process those
right
year round. I mean, people They don't donate Christmas stuff around Christmas. They, on January through December,
Yeah.
we get donations of everything. But it's fun. It's fun to do, and it's not hard work, but just there.
Well, feeding off that last question, what are some of those areas of need like today? Okay, so we know that there's always a need. There's always a need for volunteer. I know every time we go, Betty goes, you know, what else could you do here? Or what are some other people that we could get to help? More help just advances all of the programs that are going on. So in terms of that, in terms of serving, what are the areas of need at We Care from what you can see that would be a huge help in terms of serving with We Care? Do you have any of those areas?
I see again, because we have a cleaning bench that all the donations that come through that people give us, they don't wash them up and polish them up before they give them to We Care.
Okay.
They kind of give them to you as is, where is. And we are sometimes short-staffed in that area.
Yes.
Where it may go for a week without having somebody there to clean the items.
Right.
And that's where we kind of, fall short there, and having a continuous supply of volunteers that'll help out in areas like that.
So it's like that concept, leave something better than you found it. If you're donating your clothes, just be aware of the cleanliness of them, because just because they're donated doesn't mean always that they're usable in some fashions. I remember I've dumped out those bins many times, and then there's some things you just have to throw away.
Well, I watch over to and it's mostly ladies that are sorting through the clothing, a couple of men every now and then, but they have to smell the clothing when they take it out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I am not one of those who wants to do that.
Yeah.
But
it's a job. You have to do it.
Yeah,
you have to do it.
Right.
People are not sending them out to the
Right.
dry cleaner
Right.
before they give them to
Right.
We Care.
It's just comes how it is.
Well, and it's not that you have to go to the fullest extent, but to be aware though, when you are donating, just be aware of its condition and think, is this wearable? Does this have like food? Does this have a shelf life for someone to wear? I think that's important for everyone listening to know.
Well, shoes, that we get hundreds of pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
It seems like every week, or if not, and they do have a washing machine that they wash the shoes on. But again, that's not for like leather shoes. And
Right.
those we have
Right.
people that do to clean the shoes and polish them and everything. So it's a lot of work in getting the donations of clothing from the 4x4 bins out in front of our building
Yeah.
that you drop off until it's on the shelf in the store being sold to you as a consumer.
Yeah.
A lot of things go through a lot of processes before it's there, before you buy it.
Mr. Glenn?
Of course, it changes from week to week, month to month, what the.
Oh, sure.
Like last month, we were in dire need of Walmart bags.
Yes.
And that's one thing people can do. They can pack up their bag and bring them
Right.
to Walmart. And it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to spend no time there. Just drop them off.
Yeah.
And that would help a lot.
Yeah. Is that still a need, do you think?
It's always.
It's always a need.
It's always a
We're
need,
better
yeah.
off than we were last month. But
Yeah.
It's because we haven't been open.
Right. Okay.
It's better, but we always need bags.
Yeah.
And it takes a volunteer sitting down, smoothing out
Right.
bags
Yeah.
so that they can be used, in the
Oh, yeah.
sales counters. Yeah.
Right, because they can't be crumbled up, can they?
Well,
No.
yeah, you can't easily keep a crumpled up bag of bags.
Right.
They're
Right.
pulling out of
Right.
So somebody sits down, smooths them out in stacks, and then puts them away for the salespeople when we're open on Wednesdays.
And
Saturdays.
that takes time.
It takes
A
time.
lot of time.
It takes time.
And
yeah.
especially if you're needing more volunteers, that's a job right there. That it's little things. It's little things that make the difference, and you need
It's
people
not
to
every,
do
not
that,
every
yeah.
job is like being a brain surgeon,
right.
but it has to be done.
It has to be done.
And a very, simple
Yeah.
smoothing out a plastic bag, putting another one on top, smoothing out thing. Well, I can do that. Great.
Well, it's the call of Apostle Paul. we're all part of the body, and we all have we are all a part of the body. Some are arms, legs, other appendages, facial structures, everything. Everyone has the part. The body will not function normal if it doesn't have all the parts. Which is and when you don't have all the parts, then the leg's doing more work than it should, or and then you have injuries.
Yeah,
so I mean, really is. It's something. The last 2 times we've brought the youth group there, that has been evident. When we leave there, the conversation goes to, we've come out of a pandemic. We need more volunteers. We need more people on a regular basis here.
Yeah.
And I mean, have you felt pre-pandemic versus now, have you seen a increase in stress, anxiety? Is there anything, because I know that there's fewer volunteers. How has that affected workflow? Has it affected workflow? What would you say to that?
It seems that even when we're lacking volunteers, like on the cleaning bench, and it piles up, but then somebody, the Lord kind of takes care of us. All of a sudden we have a young lady there that she's on light duty from MTD. But she's working on the cleaning bench for the last several weeks, and another gentleman who on the same thing, on light duty. He's working there. It's amazing how it seems like that we don't get stuck forever without a volunteer or somebody coming in to volunteer, or a light duty person, or somebody doing community service. They fill the bill, it seems like. Keeps it going.
Well, that's a nice transition to the next question, because this week we're in, yesterday, Pastor Amanda talked about joy. But it's a different understanding of what joy means. It doesn't mean the emotion on your face. It's the endurance to make it through things despite the circumstance not being joyful. So it's like an optimism to not just to say, if someone says, "Hey, how are you?" "Oh, I'm great," and give a smile, but it's the work, the endurance of moving through something when you could easily fold it, you could easily let it go, and just find yourself in a state of I don't know what we're going to do. But it feels like to me that word joy and we care feel so connected, because there are so many reasons why volunteering, especially places that do volunteering, struggle, but struggle to the point of failure. And it feels like we care always finds a way, because people are willing. And there's what you said, Mr. Carey, there's almost an unexplainable part. I don't know how, we were able to get through that part of this year, but we were. I don't know who did this job that we needed to get done, and we didn't know who was going to do it, and it got done. It does. It feels like, joy, in the definition of joy being the endurance of moving through with positivity and optimism despite the situation, almost welcoming negativity. And it doesn't happen, because it has to be the perspective of you to fully believe that we will make it through this. We will endure this time, and then we'll make it on the other side, because there's a greater purpose. There's a community out there that needs us to be here, and God will provide through our just belief that things will work out, and sometimes we can't explain why.
It's amazing that the items that are donated are from A to Z. Gentleman called up, donated 2 accordions, one electric accordion with speakers and amplifiers, and one manual. That I'm thinking, why, where do these come from? But it's amazing, the items that are donated, and you think, how did they, get that? Sometimes you don't always get, the rough cut diamond when you donate.
Sure.
But most of the time, everything that, majority of what they donate is good. And it may not, and that's a great thing about We Care. People that come there for the first time,
Yeah.
like that couple, Glenn, it's one thing to have everything there, but the prices
Yeah.
are amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great place to shop. If it's got your size and you like the look of it,
Yeah.
buy it. And
Yeah.
you can't go wrong.
Well, Pastor Amanda spoke on Luke 3 on this, which is about your sharing and being aware of how much you're taking and how much you're giving. And I feel like that's kind of in the vein of what you're saying. There's always a need to not give the worst of what you have, but to be mindful of the person that's going to receive it,
Mm-hmm.
and how you beyond donating, how you live in the world. How are you taking things? How are you giving things? And making sure that those ratios aren't off. That you're not overwhelmingly taking, and offering a 10%, of giving yourself, your time, your efforts. Yeah. So, are there any additional thoughts, or do you have any stories?
Stories, huh?
Well, the way, there's all kinds of stories.
Yeah.
We were saying about the night that we were unloading the trailer,
Yes.
I think
Yes.
and it was hot back in that trailer, and
Yes, it was. Well, I wasn't in there, but you
Yeah.
were.
You were on it, but
It appeared to be.
Yeah.
It appeared to be from the outside.
I think, yeah, we were getting things to the back of the trailer, but then I stopped and looked at the mass of kids in our parking lot. There must have been a couple of hundred,
Yeah.
youth there
Yeah.
that are putting all this stuff, and I'm thinking, they're working way harder than I am, just running here and everywhere. But it happens every year.
It does.
Right.
Every year.
Yeah.
It
Every
does.
year.
And then, I think when this is being broadcast, we will have our 2-day Christmas store.
Yes.
Help the people out. And I worked last year packaging items, and you look at the faces of the people that are coming there. And I'm sorry, I'm a very soft-hearted person, but you almost start, you get a tear in your eye because they're coming there and they're getting Christmas for their families
Yeah.
that they couldn't have
Mhm.
without We Care.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they can put a beautiful smile on the children's faces Christmas morning. And I know it's going to have a smile in their hearts when they're looking at their kids having a great time.
Right.
And it's because of We Care.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, thank y'all this week for coming. Mr. Glenn and Mr. Carey, thank y'all so much for joining from the table this week.
for having us
Thank you
on.
for
It was a pleasure.
talking about all of We Care and what it does for our community, and just, how it keeps on going even through after this pandemic, how great it is, and all that.
And knowing the needs,
Right. Right.
particularly now,
The
what are the
needs
ways that we
Very.
can help?
The needs are going to be in our community no matter what, because we have people in our community.
That's right.
It's not just Christmas. It's, you
It's
could think it
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
all year. All year.
People that come into the stores on Wednesdays and Saturdays, you have people that have money, and you have people that don't have money that come in there.
Right.
But they are all welcome, and they all find what they want in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bargain for everybody.
Amen.
Right. Well, you were going to say something?
Well, I'd just like to thank all the churches and the youth, especially the youth.
Oh, absolutely.
They are amazing. And we've had the policemen have come in and helped, the firemen were there today and helped.
Yeah.
And
And businesses, I've noticed businesses are coming.
exactly, and UTM football team was there
Yeah.
last year, helped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They just, everything. And of course, the Christmas
Yeah.
party down here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of work because we get
Yeah.
these 4x4 bins full of
Right.
stored out.
Right.
But they do that at Christmas time, and the rodeo has one come in here, and the post office has their food drive. churches, we just had one.
Right.
This last month,
Yeah.
all the churches
Yeah.
donated.
Well, and that's the beautiful part, is that it moved past us, past the church in the 70s into an ecumenical sharing of this ministry, which means we can provide more. We can say this need needs to be met, but if one church is doing it, it goes, well, I understand that needs to be met, but I can't do. And now it's like, no, that's a possibility. We could do that because the community is sharing that together.
Right. Well, thank y'all both again this week for coming on the show and just explaining everything. Next week we'll be talking. We won't
take volunteers.
Yeah,
from
we'll take. Yeah, we'll take. Okay.
We won't poach
We'll
volunteers.
take the volunteers. All right. We'll be talking with volunteers for Reelfoot Rural Ministries. I think we got Justin Christ on the show.
Yes. Dr. Greg Moore.
Dr. Greg Moore. And Russ Gillum.
That's right.
Dr. Russ Gillum.
That's right.
I'm Caden.
And I'm Brian.
Y'all want to?
Yeah, I'm Glenn.
I'm Gary. And we'll all say, have a happy holiday season.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
And good night to all.
Thanks for listening on the Conversation from the Table.
Joy of Christ be with you. Thanks for listening. You can find information for We Care at wecareministries.net. Again, a special thanks to Glenn Hudson and Carrie Buxton, volunteers for We Care Ministries under the team at We Care, led by Betty Baker, We Care Director. This episode was recorded prior to the tornado that occurred this past week. We want everyone to know that we are continue to make room in the inn and find ways that we can help our community. You can look for martinfumc.org as well as social media, Facebook and Instagram. Again, thanks for listening to the Conversation from the Table.